Good morning, it's day 2 of our journey. I'm waiting for Kathleen to get up, and it's about 7:30. We will be headed to Grand Rapids today, and we'll get our day started. It's gonna be about 90 something degrees, so it'll get a little hot. I think yesterday we started getting a little dehydrated. You saw we got some water at Burger King. But thank you to Montcalm Community College for letting us stay here, and we really appreciate it. It was a beautiful night, and we had a great location. So we'll head on to our journey. We'd have a little fun before we leave. We're gonna do our exercises, stretches mainly.
Stretches and head off.
Another 50 something miles today.
50 miles.
Well, we're still on the Meyer Heartland Trail, and it's a beautiful day. I do want to say that after Kathleen and I were talking about it yesterday or last night, and I mentioned something about her complaining, and ultimately I was just asking her how she was feeling, and she was telling me, so really she wasn't complaining. She's been a good trooper through this whole thing. She's been enjoyable to ride with, and I'm so glad that she likes biking as much as I do. Made it to Ada, Michigan. A lot more traffic. It's a lot better than going through those gravel roads, I tell you. I think that kicked my butt. Not sure what time we'll be arriving, but we're a lot later than I thought we would be. Made it to our daughter and Chris's house, Kayla. And there's Caitlin. So nice to see you guys.
Yep.
It'd be really nice to eat. I'm starving.
You can stand right here and your feet will freeze.
Yeah, it's very cold in here. Thanks for letting us stay.
You're welcome.
We are on day 3, but we didn't do a whole lot yesterday of videoing or recording.
We were a little tired. We were beat from yesterday. Pulled in, had dinner with our kids, talked to them for a little bit, and then we went to bed.
Yesterday I didn't have time to charge all the electronics and got a little later start than we really wanted to get going earlier, but that didn't happen. I think you fell. Yeah, you fell.
Yeah, I thought my feet were not clipped in and my left foot was, and when I went to stop, before we even left the college, I fell over, scraped up my elbow, wrist, palm, and knee a little bit.
Yeah, there was, we got to the next town from where we were staying, which was in Greenville, and ended up talking to a few different people. And we
were trying to figure out a route. We had 2 different options, and we were trying to figure out which way we wanted to go.
And it was also confusing, kind of in the town. We felt it was a little confusing.
Well, we just weren't sure which rail trail led where.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing where I guess some things we just didn't feel like maybe were posted, and not sure what trail we were on. And so the route though that we took, would we decide it was not a good idea?
No, it was not a good idea. It was the wrong decision.
We started out good, but ended up on a packed limestone.
Which we knew ahead of time we were going to run into some limestone, but someone told us it was packed down pretty good and that we don't really have.
We don't have gravel bikes.
No, but we got some advice that maybe it would be decent. Probably my tires weren't the best, he said, but might be able to make it. So we gave it a shot, but it wasn't a good decision. We were cruising right along at first because it really was hard packed, but then we ran into some pretty loose, deep stones. Mark had a bit of a crash.
Yeah, it was not good. No, so that took him some time to clean that up.
We needed to clean those wounds up and get them back bandaged up, and then...
So we're a little bit more cautious after that. Maybe a little slower than wanted to be.
I put some tennis shoes on and didn't even wear my cleats, and Mark didn't clip in, and we rode a little slower because we couldn't tell where the really loose stuff was until we were right upon it. So going a little slower helped us to see that a little bit better.
And it was really hot.
Very hot. We were running out of water. We were kind of in some rural areas, and we were really getting exhausted.
By changing though our plan as far as like you not clipping it, you're not having clipped in, and I was going slower and I wasn't clipped in either. Almost went into another tailspin.
Yeah, that one would have been pretty bad. It was a pretty steep riverbank, and he would have gone right down.
That was close.
He put the brakes on and got his foot down and stopped himself in a hurry.
Yeah. So we finally got to a small town and found a little convenience store to get some water. So we loaded up on water.
We did. Loaded up on water.
And took off.
Yeah.
And then you realized
I realized I had left my gloves on my back bag, and I didn't have them, so I had to turn around and find them. I found one in the middle of the street, the other one on a path, but I'm glad I found them. And it didn't take that long, but that was some more time.
But still, it's more time that takes that. And we get back on the path, there's still more limestone.
Ran into more limestone.
Another several miles, and we finally get to a...
Yeah, I was excited for McPherson Road. Goodbye, gravel. Hello, McPherson.
But we get to it, and it's a dirt
road with hills, lots of hills.
We ended up, when it's all said and done, we ended up walking our bikes 8.
Not 1, not 2, but 8 hills.
That's not something I normally am used to, but I'm pulling a lot of weight as well.
I probably would have walked up them anyhow. They're pretty steep, but Mark usually likes to try to push up, but he's carrying a lot of weight. So
ultimately, we went a little over 50 miles, I think. And
took us 9 hours.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
We were beat.
Yeah, so we were glad to get to our
final destination
daughter
for the
and son-in-laws and enjoy some time with them, as well as our other daughter who lives here in Grand Rapids, and it was nice because I was hungry, and we
were both very hungry and thirsty.
So what did we learn? What's we learned from marriage?
Yeah, I mean, in relationships and marriage relationships, you're going to run into obstacles and bumps in the road. It's not if, it's when. So being prepared for those and realizing to change courses sometimes, put on the brakes, is important. And being intentional before those bumps is very helpful. Like
we would do like training of different classes we would take, or courses that we would do, conferences.
Yeah, so training in marriage could be reading a marriage book, like you said, attending a conference or a marriage class.
Studying the Bible together.
Studying the Bible together, praying together. That 99% of couples that pray together stay together. That's a pretty high results.
Yeah, and then we actually will have obstacles today. We're going to be on our way to Holland today, and Holland, Michigan. And looks like it's possible rain, and we'll have to make some adjustments. But ultimately, again, just like any other day, you have to plan it. So.
Yep. So here we go, day 3.